get back to the disassembly of this cheap 460 that I bought to rebuild for the 1975 Lincoln Continental. Pretty much stripped down. You might ask, well, why don't I pressure wash this thing? Well, I'm gonna most likely take it to the machine shop and let them put it in their machine and kind of boil it out or whatever they do to it. It's like hot steam, water, pressure, something cleaner, whatever. You know, it leaves these things looking like brand new. So probably do that. It looks pretty good. There is some evidence that some water was in here, but nothing too bad. I don't know. And let me turn the light on. I'll show you what we got. Okay, so if we look down here, you can see like up the top here, it's some evidence of water, but as far as the rest of it, it looks pretty good. You know, I think we got to this thing just in time. If it would have sat any longer, I don't think we would get away without boring it. And this thing would clean up like, I mean, if you did bore it, it would. There is zero wear on this block. If you look in these cylinders, you still see some crosshatch. So there was one other, this cylinder looked like it could have had some water in it. Let me turn it. See that right there, but again, got a little, what is that? I need to look at that real good. Make sure that's not going through to a cooling passage. It's a weird little spot there. There's no signs that, you know, if it was something, I feel like it would have been something that was there. We'll just watch it when we clean it up. That was there. It was probably a piece of carbon that sat, it fell and sat right there with some moisture on it. But if this thing would have been cracked, that piston would not be that dirty. So I'm not too concerned about it. Cooling system, I mean, it looks all right, but let's see, this thing was sitting, which side was it sitting on? This side was up, so that side was the downside. So even if, I'll just say this thing sat, that wouldn't have been like this thing had water in it and sat and froze, because this would have been the higher side. I'm fairly certain what that is where carbon sat. Wet carbon. Now like a piece like this, you know, fell off. It sat there. I don't know. That's my guess. Like I said, we'll hone this thing and see. But I mean, they look good, I think. I haven't seen any marks on the piston, so I'm pretty sure it's standard. But, you know, we will go over that. Don't know if this thing's ever been into before. Head gasket's really stuck. But yeah, they told me it was running when it was pulled. They just pulled it out to do that diesel swap. I have no reason to. That other truck with the diesel is sitting there where they had swapped in the Cummins. The cooling ports look much better than mine did. I mean, it's rusty in there, but mine had, these were partially plugged up. This is just gasket. Anyway. a good thing we pulled it apart. We had one broken piston ring on number 1, and you know, I really don't know what the cause was there. It was not an issue with it coming out. I didn't break it coming out. Basically what happened, you know, they go out pretty easy and then they hit, you know, that carbon at the top and then they kind of stop. Number 1 slid out easy, and then I heard a piece of ring drop, which I've got to clean up this mess on the floor. I forgot to put down some pig mats, so I've got a mess here, but I'll get that cleaned up. Piece of ring fell, you know, without me even trying to hit it out, you know, so it didn't break upon removal. It was already broke. So it's a good thing we pulled this thing apart. All the others looked okay, but I mean, I'm sure they probably lost some tension. That ring, the rest of it fell around here somewhere. I don't know. But you can see we are missing a ring. So yeah, that one wasn't good. See no issues other than that. That's really the only thing I ran across upon disassembly. Wish I could find that other piece of ring. Oh, it's on the head. So here's the piece that fell out. Pretty much broke in half. You can see it does not look like a fresh break. No, you can't really see it. It's not focusing in on it. But anyway, that's been broken a while. Who knows why. But everything looked okay. Bearings, they're fine. They've got wear to them. They're standard Ford bearings. This thing's never been apart. See some wear on the upper bearing. Lower bearing looks fine. It's got some scoring, but I mean, nothing to be concerned about. Crank all looks good. Like I said, I'll probably just have the machine shop polish it. I could do it, but I'm kind of short on time, so if I'm taking everything else there, probably have them do it. I may even see what they charge to hone the cylinders, and if it's cheap, I'll just have them do it while it's there. If not, I'll just do it. But they'll boil it out or whatever they do to clean it, and I'd like them to do the crankshaft too. Is the reason. Think about just taking the crankshaft there, because if I take it and have them polish it, they'll go ahead and clean it as well. You know, put it in their steam cleaner or whatever. So I think that's probably well worth it. I'm gonna knock the freeze plugs out because we're gonna put some new ones in. Core plugs, frost plugs, whatever you want to call it. So we've still got to do that. And like I said, we're gonna leave the crank sitting in it until we're ready to go to the machine shop. It's just a good place to store the crank, you know. So we'll leave it there. I'm gonna pull one cap off, make sure it's standard. I mean, you know, you tear into something like this and it's all standard. You can assume the mains will be standard, but we'll double check. All right, again here we've got just some wear, but crank looks good and I don't see any issues. They are standard, so I'm gonna throw a little bit of oil back on that bearing, throw it back on here, and that way it is we can keep track of it, I guess. And yeah, so I'll rotate it around. We'll take a quick look at the cylinders. I'll show you all those. That way, I guess we can see what we've got. Our cylinders, wiped them out. Let's take a quick look. We've got a little bit of staining. Not too bad. At that weird spot, which I don't feel anything there. I don't really know. look at the upside too. This side looks good, except for this little spot here, which you can't even feel. Feel one little pit right there. I don't feel anything there. This side over here is a little worse. So the cylinder is worse than I thought it was, and it's got definitely has some rust up here. I think that'll clean up. I don't know. Let's get the upside. Looks pretty good. This one, it's got a little spot there. This one looks fine. This one is probably the worst of it. It's definitely, it's not looking the best. Yeah, it is not. It's got some pitting down there. See, this would have been rotated around on this side. I'm wondering if some water from the oil pan came up and did some of this. I don't know. Well, no, maybe not. It looks like the piston was probably about right here, and it had some water that dripped down from the valve and kind of ran down and pooled right there. I don't know. Really don't want to buy pistons, but I might just price them out. That's not good right here. Unfortunately, this is not looking the best. I'm a perfectionist when it comes down to it, and I say that. I strive to be a perfectionist, I guess, and that's not flying well with me. So I don't know. I need to think about this. I need to think if I want to proceed with this block, or I think if I do, this isn't going to clean up with honing, I don't think. There's definitely some pitting there. I don't know. Try to get y'all in. See it? That's pitting. That's not something built up on. That's a crater. That's still going to be there after we hone it. The only way to get rid of that is to bore it. So I need to do some research and see if I really want to do that, or if I'd rather just dump this block and, rebuild the one that's in the Lincoln. I don't know. I need to do some pricing, because this could get expensive quick. I took a look at Rock Auto, and the Silverlight Hyper Tactic, or whatever, however you pronounce that, pistons are 154. That's with the coated skirts. It's listed as one of their premium pistons. Go figure. The Silverlight non-coated skirt standard replacement are more. It probably just depends on how Rock Auto has their inventory or whatever. So good deal on those pistons, $154. I think I will go with those instead of just the cast Engine Tech. Set of rings, like I said, I think I actually found a set of rings for like 50 something, right around $50. So, but we would have rings in whatever engine we build anyway. So we're only thinking right now of extra cost to this engine, assuming that the other engine, everything's in good shape on it. So that being said, machine shop charged $200 basically to bore it, and it's $40 to Okay, $200 to bore it, $85 to clean it. I was gonna pay the $85 anyway, just because they can get it a whole lot cleaner than I can. But anyway, $200 to bore it. I'd have $40 in putting the pistons on the rods. To charge $40. Now I'd have $80. They charge $10 a piece. So those two costs would be the additional cost plus the cost of the pistons. So just say 160 plus 80, it's 240 plus 200, $440 to have this engine rebored with new pistons and everything. Like I said, that's just the cost that we're doing to rebore. That's not any other cost taken into account. So assuming our other engine doesn't need to be bored and we could get by with running it as is, I know it needs one piston, so just say 50-ish for a piston, assuming that they're different from these. You know, $390 difference, plus we'd have to get that one done. I'd probably take it to the machine shop that's closer, which they charge $25 a piston, just so I didn't have to go all the way in just to get one done. It's not worth the difference, the $15 difference to do one piston. Anyway, so, you know, but we would have an engine that is rebored, probably better pistons than stock, and they're new and not old. I don't know. I don't really know which way I'm gonna go yet. I'm gonna just think about it for a little while and save some money, because I need to save some money anyway. But you know, we would tear into the other engine and see that it's got some wear in it, or it's got some scratches. I mean, it may have some issues that we didn't see that would make it beneficial to bore that one. I don't know. So like I said, I'm just gonna think about this. Let me know what y'all would do. Would y'all just splurge while you're at it, while you're here, spend the $400 and some odd dollars to just basically have a completely rebuilt engine? Like I said, the crank's not turned, but if it doesn't need to be turned, there's no need of doing it anyway. But we would basically have a brand new engine at that point. Or would you go ahead and tear the other engine down and see if we could just get by with it on just putting a set of rings in it? You know, so let me know what you would do.